Alright, in this unboxing and review I'm going to discuss the Magpul MagLink, and that's model number MAG595-BLK. I believe these are only available in black. I did not see a color option on Magpul's website. This MagLink device allows you to couple two magazines together, so you can easily swap from one magazine to another magazine on your rifle without getting into your loadout and pulling out another magazine. The MagLink weighs 2.8 ounces. It comes with the MagLink coupler and some screws to attach it together. It's a polymer construction, just like Magpul PMAG magazines and their other components. This is the box that it ships in, standard Magpul box. Not much to say about that. It does say on the box that the MagLink is not compatible with first generation PMAG 30s, PMAG 20s, EMAGs, PMAG 30Gs, or PMAG 20LRs. Now, I actually don't have any of those magazines here, so I can't confirm that. I think it's safe to say that that's probably accurate. This MagLink is going to work with a Gen 2 and Gen 3 PMAGs. And I have a couple of Gen 3 PMAGs, and I have one Gen 2 PMAG to test. So inside the box, we open it up. Inside the box, surprisingly, we actually have a folded up decal. I don't know what makes Magpul think that I want a creased decal, unless it uncreases. Yeah, it's pretty much got a crease in it. These decals just don't fit in the box unless you fold them up. Hence, probably one of the reasons the pistol grips don't come with decals is they just don't fit. They're too big. My advice to Magpul: don't fold up the decals and put them in the box. You know, I know you guys have one size decal, but if you're going to include them in these smaller boxes, have some smaller ones printed up that are just a tad bit smaller. You can put in the box and not have to fold them in half. That's really nitpicking, but you know, I'll just throw that out there. I'm not a real big sticker fan, but you know, if somebody does give me a sticker and I'm going to use it, I'd like to use it without having a permanent crease in it. But it is nice, you know, that you do get one. So most other smaller items that come in boxes like that don't come with decals, so that is a plus. No Ziploc bag, just a standard baggie. This is the Magpul coupler here. It comes with two longer screws in this bag. Each screw looks like it has some yellow thread locker on it. Nice design. MagLink logo. 30-1, which I guess is the model number of this particular item. Magpul logo right there. And obviously the screws go through one end. And this does go together somewhat, kind of snap together. I don't think it's designed to be used this way. I think this is just kind of, you know, snaps in so you can test fit these magazines, your magazines in your rifle, to make sure you've got them staggered correctly, and then take it out and put the screws in. So, you know, running and gunning and such, you probably wouldn't want to use this without the screws put in it, but it does kind of snap into place, and it is kind of firm, so you could do some test fitting. I see Nothing to complain about construction wise. There's no flash or other extra plastic on this. Very well made. And we have a couple of slotted screws, 10 by 24, 2.5, blah blah blah. So let's see. Let's grab a couple of Gen 3 PMAGs. I got a couple of Gen 3 PMAGs here. For doing this, you're going to have to stagger this setup here in a configuration such as this, where the first magazine sits higher than the second magazine. That way, the first magazine into your gun sits lower than the second magazine, because once you switch to your second magazine, you got to make sure that the first magazine is not in the way of your ejection door or the cases being ejected from your rifle. So with that said, let me kind of play around with this and fit this, and I'll come back on camera in a second. Okay, I got two magazines staggered in the MagLink here. The screws go in fine. They tighten down okay. The trick with the MagLink is, if you can tell the way this is designed, there's these little notches right here, and they're designed to basically fit over these raised sections on the magazine. So I can mount this MagLink right here, or right here, or right here. You don't have infinite adjustability with the MagLink, and I don't think that's really necessary. What you need to do is you need to do this stagger setup. So this is your first magazine. Or excuse me, this is your first magazine. I keep getting those backwards. This is your first magazine, and then when you switch over to the second magazine here, this sits lower than your ejection door, and your empty brass doesn't hit this. So this goes on fine. You put the screws in, tighten it down. It is freaking rock solid. You could probably throw this around. It doesn't move at all when you tighten this down. It's very solid. It's specifically designed for these magazines. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to break one of these. It's definitely very well made, and it's a very well thought out design from what I can see. So the other thing about the MagLink is I've got a typical M4 style or military type of magazine pouch, and I honestly, this pouch normally holds 2 magazines. I can fit 2 PMAGs in this. And the question is, how do you carry, if you've got a bunch of these magazines connected together with these MagLink, how do you carry them? And I can pretty much say, now your results may vary. Okay, so this is a military issue. So as you can see in this standard double mag pouch, I was able to get the 2 magazines that are coupled together with the MagLink into the pouch. The pouch does have a bit of flexibility to it. and the Velcro runs a good portion of the pouch. I was only able to make this work with the rounds facing down because of the floor plates on the windowed PMAGs. It's a bit too wide to try and fit that way. It is rather tight, so you'd have to work at it to pull this out. But it definitely is doable if you were going to pack a few of these this way. Sorry, I had to pull on that a little bit. If this was on your loadout, it'd probably be easier to pull out. And there's not the easiest to go in, but you can see I'm getting it, sliding it in there. So it's not too bad. Yeah, if it was on your loadout, you had a little bit more leverage to force this down. It's really only going to go down as far as the MagLink. It's just not, this material, at least on this one's not going to really stretch out far enough to let that in there unless you get in and with your finger and pull it out. So I know some people that have these, they their initial this is their initial magazine that's in the gun, and when they burn through these two magazines, they go back to single magazines from pulling them from their mag pouches on their loadout. So that's how some people run it. But depending upon what pouches you're using, you might be able to get them in your pouches and run a few of them stacked like this. And yeah, again, in case I didn't already mention it, these are military issue pouches. I think they're USMC. I don't remember who made these. I think Fire Force, something like that. Anyway, these are just military surplus. Now, what I have on, I've got two of the M3 PMAGs, the windowed PMAGs. I've got one windowed M2 PMAG, which I'm going to take this apart, and I'm going to put one of the M2 PMAGs on here just to confirm that there's no fitment issues with the M2 PMAGs. Okay, wrapping this up. So far, I like what I see. The only concern, like I showed you on the video, is this fitment into standard magazine pouches. I'd have to put my loadout on and load up a couple of these and see. I think they're going to be too bulky and too difficult to put in and take out. But for the first magazine I load up in my gun could be this. And when this is exhausted, I can start pulling single magazines out of my pouches. That would be fine too. I've seen other people do that, so that might be the way I run this as well. I know there's other options on the market, like a Ready Mag system, which holds a spare magazine on the rifle and so on. And at one point in time, I might explore one of those, or at least do a product eval of it and see the feasibility of using something like that. But for now, this is relatively inexpensive, and I'll just have to try this in some outdoor sessions and see how well it works for me, and if I can actually put some of these on my loadout without it being too bulky. So that's the Magpul MagLink, model number MAG595-BLK. Okay, this is just a afterthought to my workbench video. I took the lower receiver that I had and put it back together with the upper receiver, and it dawned on me that I've got an Aimpoint Pro here that's got a gigantic knob that sticks out on the side right where the magazine should be. So I put some rounds in this magazine and inserted it into the the gun, and the magazine lip just barely clears that adjustment knob on the Aimpoint Pro. So it will work, it fits, it locks into place. With ammunition in it, it's not a problem. And you can see that the lip of the magazine is just almost touching the adjustment knob. So depending upon what sight you're using on your rifle, you may want to take that into consideration. This works. I tested it, magazine in, magazine out. So it's just very, very tight clearance wise. So I wanted to add this onto the video because it would be problematic if somebody bought this and then didn't take into consideration what sight they might have on their upper. So it does work. See if I can demonstrate that while holding the camera. So it does drop free, and you can see it locked into place. I didn't have to force it or add any additional force to get the magazine to lock into place. So I could probably get a piece of paper in between the top lip of the magazine and this knob. That's how close it is. But it does work. So keep that in mind if you're going to use one of these MagLinks. Pay attention to what kind of sight you're using and what kind of mounting mechanism it uses.